people are concerned in this down market that hits different every single day. And so we are going to bring you today some really cool things that you could do during the downturn market and how to manage your business during that time, because I think that's very important.
When we were kind of thinking about this topic, 3-4 different cycles in different industries, throw in there a pandemic, right? All of these things are what you're talking about, is whether it's a down market, you're having a slow sales period, maybe you have a more seasonality product, or, really, God forbid, it's a bear market. Mm-hmm. And what I've always told people, and I think this is the mistake that a lot of new business owners make, welcome to the Trustedpreneur Podcast, the show that empowers entrepreneurs to make impactful and powerful decisions to grow their business. I'm David Ricci, your expert in growing and scaling your business to 8 figures and beyond.
And I am Madeline Ricci, your master leadership coach. So David, how are you today?
I'm doing extremely well. This has been a wonderful day for us, very impactful, and a lot of good things going on for us right now.
Yes, there is. That brings me to consistency. That's the word that I am looking for, because while we don't necessarily want to do these recordings, consistency does drive a lot of different things, right? Opportunities open up and, more visibility, I guess, and more people that we can help. So I love that.
Absolutely.
So today we're going to deep dive into a crucial topic that it's kind of all over the map right now. And, people are concerned in this down market that hits different every single day. And so we are going to bring you today some really cool things that you could do during the downturn market and how to manage your business during that time, because I think that's very important.
I couldn't agree more. And, Madeline, we've gone through, when we were kind of thinking about this topic, 3-4 different cycles in different industries, throw in there a pandemic, right? All of these things are what you're talking about, is whether it's a down market, you're having a slow sales period, maybe you have a more seasonality product, or, really, God forbid, it's a bear market. Mm-hmm. And what I've always told people, and I think this is the mistake that a lot of new business owners make, and then what ends up happening, the successful initial entrepreneurs end up thinking they don't need to do some of the steps here. Mm-hmm. So I look at this as the first and foremost, when you're dealing with starting your business, most entrepreneurs, most first-time business owners, even other businesses, will start with the process of building out their initial budget. And they may put aside 90 days, maybe 180 days of what they think they would need to run their business.
Right.
What they fail to do is remember that's not just for the starting of the business. That is a practice that must be continued over and over and over again to be successful. Interestingly enough, I remember when we had a market shift and we didn't lay anybody off. Mm-hmm. We didn't stop doing any of the promotional items that we did. We didn't stop anything within our business, because the first and foremost thing we did is we took 10% of our gross revenues and we put that aside after every month, or before, at the end of every month, we just shifted that into account. And to me, that's the smartest thing you can do, because down markets, slow sales markets, bear markets don't happen every day. But what does happen every day? Unexpected expenses, things you're just not preparing for, or maybe there's a new innovation or a new technology you want to have, and it's not a calculated expense just yet.
Or a new opportunity that comes up.
Correct. So the first thing I tell all new entrepreneurs, and as you know, I believe in the profit first model. I don't necessarily subscribe that you have to have 5 or 6 different accounts, but you have to have strategic accounts where you put dollars aside for specific things. And a down market or bear market or slow sales market is one of those things, but it falls in the camp of unexpected, right? So that's the simplest thing one can do. The other thing is remember that when it's a down market, and we learn this, the down market is usually the greatest opportunity you just don't know you're having, right? So what I mean by that is look at the most successful business people you know and you've seen. Maybe they're Warren Buffett in the stock market. Buy low, sell high, right? You start seeing it. When is he buying? He's buying when everybody else is selling, right? Because he says at a certain point, that's a valuable asset and I'm going to invest. And what most successful business people do is they invest when everybody is panicking.
Yeah.
Right? And you look at some of the business opportunities we did. We did them when everybody else was like, whoa, right? Why are we going to invest now?
Well, interestingly enough, in 2008, when the first crash, well, not the first, but one of the crash that really took my 18 years in corporate out of, from underneath me, I would have stayed there had I not been laid off, right? But that was a down market. That was a crash.
Yeah.
And that's when we opened our first business. And I don't think I ever thought of opening a business in the same industry. In my wildest dream, did I ever thought it was going to provide for both of us and 3,000 other agents out in the field, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's incredible. And and that's really interesting because that was the opportunity that we did not see. We just fell into it.
Yes. But then in 2012,
we did it again. Again.
We did it again.
Yeah, it happened again.
So
but it was a small one.
It was, but we were prepared.
Yes.
We had the economics set aside and we were able to do that. We also at that time were switching technologies.
Yes.
Right. So we were investing in that. We were also creating some other things. So to me, the best thing you can do, right, is look at it as an opportunity. I know it's hard. It's extremely hard. And if you're running tight as it is, taking 10% of your sales, it's difficult. So maybe 10 isn't the right number for you today, but I would also add this. And the reason why I use 10, because it's tough. It's a tough number to hit every month. But if you do it, you get really good at understanding your budget, right? And so that's the other thing the next thing I was going to add is, right, you need to really sit down and evaluate your budget. What are you spending money on? Where are your dollars going, right? So one of the things that you should look at when you're looking at your budget is if you have inventory, what is your inventory, right? Are you carrying too much inventory? If you're carrying too much, then you need to come up with a solution that says, how do I not have to carry so much investment dollars? Because you're either borrowing to buy get that inventory, or you're paying it out front. Right. Either way. So you have this added expense. So you have to really control your budget. And I think that it's funny when you look at budget, the first thing people are going to look at, headcount and marketing.
I was just about to ask you that question. Most people, the first thing that I know what most of them do, but for the audience's sake, what are some of the things that most entrepreneurs, small businesses do right away when they panic and they want to, in a downturn economic?
Yeah. So depending on the product or service, The majority of people, the first line that they cut is marketing.
Should they?
Never. Because here's the thing. Down markets, even bear markets, even slow sales markets do not last forever.
Right. Everything is cyclical.
That's right. I think the average bear market lasts maybe 2 quarters, right? So, if you're not fueling, keeping yourself in front of people, somebody else is going to come into the market.
Right.
Because they're going to look at that as the opportunity time, right? And then you as a business owner have to be thinking, I keep doing the things that have made me successful. I maybe optimize my marketing. I absolutely look at building stronger customer relationship marketing.
Loyalty, yeah.
Right? Because they're their best spokespeople. Because now you're looking at people that want to know that if I spend the money on your product or service, that they are actually getting value. People don't mind. Remember this, it's never price. It's only what it costs if there's no value.
Right.
So marketing and pushing your name and your brand out there to say that you're there, you're going to also pick up immediately. Well, in theory, you'd pick up immediately because your competition is thinking the way you are. I need to pull back on marketing.
Yeah.
And that's why you surge your marketing. In fact, actually, sometimes it's even better to uptick your marketing at this point, but really you need to make sure you're optimizing your marketing.
So could that be potentially, you should optimize it, but also would it be possible that it does, like the cost of lead are cheaper during those times?
Yeah, usually.
Usually, right? So perhaps that's a strategy.
Right.
Because most people, like you said, they are pulling back from marketing, especially in the digital world, right? So they too have to make money, right? They want people to market. So the algorithm, the per lead cost might drop.
Yep.
Is that a possibility?
Absolutely. And it happens all the time. And again, this is why you really, unless you're really good at it, you should be working with somebody that's really good at it, right? Because optimizing your marketing and your reach is it's more challenging than most people think. It's not just posting on Facebook. It's not just running ads. It's not just boosting, right? It's making sure your message is clear. We've talked about that in past, right? And when you're evaluating your sales process, you need to always be evaluating every aspect of it and what your messaging is and what your call to actions are and what your value proposition is. It may change depending on the market a little bit, right? They're still looking for the same product, but now they're looking for that additional value. Right. And so, we laugh about it because we talk about the $8-9 eggs, right? But people still buy eggs.
Yes.
Right. So it's not the price. It's that, are they still getting the value? They may give something else up.
Well, it's cheaper than meat.
And there you have it, guys. Had no idea.
But isn't it?
Yes, I guess it is.
I guess you can always eat rice and eggs.
There you go. But anyway, she just threw me off on a curve. But to finish the question that you asked, the other thing people do is they immediately look at headcount.
Yes.
And if you put money aside to be able to keep your people, one, I guarantee you they become even more loyal. They start seeing that you're giving up something for them. And that's powerful. But I think, again, remember, these cycles don't last forever. And if you are marketing and you're driving your sales and you're driving messages and you're keeping in front of them, you're going to need somebody when the market shifts back.
Yes.
Right.
And it happens all the time in the real estate market.
In the real estate market, right? There's the interest rates drop. There's more realtors out there than we know how to find.
And lenders.
Exactly. But, the thing is if let's use lenders as an example, the really good lenders, when the market is shifting downward, are hiring more LOs. Because.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, they're doing it because of two reasons. One, they capture market share because they bring on these LOs that are producing for other companies, but the other companies are, bumping prices, doing all this other stuff, right? But they're looking at keeping their numbers and their market share. But what happens almost all the time with the best run lending institutions is when the market shifts, they are now staffed and they can take on that volume because it's a natural thing. Same thing with any other business that you have sales. If market is slow, invest in people, invest in your marketing, and then watch what happens at the turn at the curve, right? And the curve. And then now you are going full steam ahead. You have people that are loyal to you. You have customers that know who you are and they're marketing with the marketing. And now you have the people that will close those sales.
Yeah, that's one aspect of it. Also, from a business standpoint, opportunities that do open up, people selling their businesses because they can't absorb the cost. They sell them for dirt cheap.
Yeah, it's a great time to look at investing in businesses.
It's a great time to invest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's also a great time when market shifts for people to come in, and this is where the franchise space is good, but not necessarily the conversation we were going to plan to have today, but you're absolutely right. Down markets are opportunities, and the most successful entrepreneurs invest, and they will always say, look for the low and go heavy. Yeah. Right? Don't stop. Right? The other thing, and this is something you've been extremely good at that needs to be evaluated, is what other revenue streams can you bring into your business in its current state? And this is something you shouldn't be waiting for the down market. No. You should be always evaluating that.
Yes.
What can I do that might add value that may not be as tied to? So pandemic, right? Fitness studio. What did everybody do?
Go online.
They went online. It was relatively inexpensive to do initially because everybody was kind of just using Zoom, right? Then it got better, right?
Yes.
And then technology really ramped up.
Yeah.
And even so now you think about that market, and you were just telling me this today, which I thought was amazing. They saw an opportunity then, and then they built it, but it's still going strong even now that the pandemic is over, right?
Which one's this one?
The online fitness.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So people found another revenue stream, and now they're using it side by side. So they're getting a different type of clientele. They're getting a different type of revenue from a standpoint that it could be live and it could be on the recorded. It's a membership.
Yeah, it could be. Yes, they do memberships. They do apps. Apps that house everything, recipes, all things that they're all different little revenue streams that if I might not be able to, I don't want to do your workout, but I'll do your recipes, right? But so you still have that customer.
Right.
So, what it affords when we get creative in the business space and look for opportunities within what we already have, it allows us to create revenue for different areas.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
And so we just have to be aware and, just look at your business. Every business out there has the opportunity and the capacity to add other revenues. Not just one customer is your customer. You potentially could be helping, for example, if you are not a sauna person, you might be a red light customer, right? Mm-hmm. You're gonna have a membership just on red light.
Yeah.
Right? Vice versa, or both. So there's like 3 different types of customers for one product.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And
So, I mean, it's just a matter of shifting your thought process and not just be so, it's not one thing only. It could be all things.
right. And that's why you always want to be looking for, how do I add a revenue stream to any business? Because it really does. And especially if it's not 100% connected, maybe it's a slightly different priced solution, right? It doesn't have to mean that you're radically changing your business. It just means, it could be you bring in a low investment add-on sale process tool, right? Something along the lines of, hey, they buy this, but this goes really well with that. And I can bring that in and I don't have to hire anybody. I'm just bringing in the product, or it could be a service. And I've been doing this, but now I'm going to offer a course, or I'm going to offer, like you said, interestingly enough, the nutrition planning, right? Simple one, right? It doesn't take a lot of cost investment to do that. You just have to get ready to do it and prepare it and be good at it. But that leads me to that, right? Because finding those additional revenue streams really brings home my last thing that people have to do to be prepared. So if you remember, we talked about making sure you're financially prepared, you're evaluating your budget, you're looking for these different revenue streams. But
what problems are you solving out there for different opportunities? Absolutely.
Right. So now, to do all that, most entrepreneurs, when it's getting close to a down cycle, or maybe they're just having a bad couple of months in sales, the first thing that impacts them, and the one thing they have to constantly be working on, is their mindset. To embrace adaptability and stop thinking short term, thinking long term. And this is an area that obviously is near and dear to you, but you helped me through some things, because being in our business world, the role I play, I look at things a little bit more conservatively. So I can get pulled in or sucked into the numbers of the economy, the numbers of what the sales are today. How much am I putting out? Maybe do I have to really reach out and grab some of that 10% we've been putting away? Do I really have to, be worrying about, payroll? Do I really have to be worrying about all these things? Well, if that's your role in the business, and this happens a lot to solopreneurs because they're doing it all.
Right.
They have to work on their mindset every day, and they have to be ready. They have to be able to embrace change, and they have to stop thinking short. They got to be looking long term.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you're absolutely right. We are so programmed to go in the negative right away, versus it takes the same amount of effort to go negative than to go positive. So I will invite every single body out there that really truly sits there and just looks at it from a negative standpoint. A lot of gratitude. It's key. B is, the ability to have faith that all is possible, and take a leap with faith, not necessarily of faith, with faith, right? And we talk about faith being faithful, right? I mean, that we have this big faith, and then that's most people out there. Well, you know what? Live it.
Yeah.
It is the time.
Well, and there's one thing too I was going to add, because I was thinking about this, and then we'll wrap, is when the markets get tough, stop looking at social media.
Oh my gosh, yes. Or the news.
Stop paying attention to every newscast, because they are built to bring you negative information. And people generally like to, as you said, they spring into the negative and they start communicating. And I remember 2016, 17, this was a real project that you had with me. I would watch the news 24/7 if I could. Now, I love the news. I watch it maybe 30 minutes in a day.
And that's not to say that one shouldn't be informed.
Correct.
You just have to be very cognizant into what you listen to, who you listen to, very important, right? And who you take advice from.
Great extra point.
Yeah.
Who you surround yourself with in times of market fluctuations, good times
Yes.
and bad times. Find people that are like-minded, that are going through and understand or have understood what you're going through so they can help counsel and coach, right? It's okay. Mentors are meant to be there to help you. And other business people that maybe have a little bit more experience are great mentors because, yeah, I've lived through that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it. Here's what I would do. Now you have to make the decision, but I think it's really true. Put yourself with the right people,
Yes.
and good things will happen. So what a great topic.
Yeah. So what are the 3 takeaways that we should reiterate?
So I think the 3 takeaways, and I may add a 4th, is financial preparedness, right? Set your business up initially to grab some dollar amount, some percentage of your gross sales,
Mm-hmm.
and put it away for that rainy day, that unexpected investment or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not a brand new startup, start today. Just start doing it. You'll feel better. Create a profit account, checking account, and just take 10%. It looks like a small amount, but in 2-3 years, suddenly that number is growing, and suddenly you have the ability to make really good decisions because you're not fearful
Right.
from your economics. Operationally, you want to absolutely optimize your marketing. I know we said you don't want to let people go, you don't want to lay people off, but you do need to evaluate your headcount. But you should always be doing that. So
Yes.
you want to be looking at that. You want to be making sure that you are looking for additional revenue streams within your operation, even if some of that might mean an acquisition, right? So if you're building your business the right way, you should always be looking at, if I add some other component to
Mm-hmm.
it. And really the third thing that I had was mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and really working on that long-term view of things and really embracing change. And then lastly, I am going to add the 4th, and the 4th was surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that can help you during tough times and great times, because great times can be as damaging as anything. Because if you've never had one, suddenly you're just spending money like it's going wild, and then you created your own downtime, right? So you got to always be careful about that. But yeah, so financial preparedness, operational, make sure you're looking at your marketing and optimizing it, mindset, and putting yourself around the right people.
Yeah. Mindset, I think it would be the number one in my book, because mindset is everything. And I'm sure everybody's heard this before. You are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
So let that sink in for a moment, guys, and do inventory on your circle. So important. It's not about the quantity, it's the quality
Yep.
of
Absolutely.
who you surround yourself with. And just so you know, I know we got to go and we are over our time, but there are going to be different types of levels within your circle, and that's okay. You're supposed to have different levels. You just have to add value every single time. Bring
Absolutely.
the value to your circle, and it'll be just fine.
Great points. And
Yeah.
you're right. Problem mindset is the number one.
Yeah.
But that would come from you.
Yes, of course.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give us a like. If you enjoy it and you want to have more of it, please subscribe. If you know anybody else that might be interested in this content, please refer them to us. We would love that, and it means the world to us. And lastly, if you have any questions for us, please email us at questions@trustedpreneurs.com. Thanks, guys, again for listening. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Till next time.